Welcome to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. A very interesting guest this week, someone that everyone in our audience is going to recognize.
Yes, someone that we've been wanting to get on for a long time, and we're lucky enough to lure him in today, Barry Switzer, the obvious longtime, very successful head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, as well as the Dallas Cowboys, and a Norman resident, a person who has adopted Oklahoma, and we're glad he has.
Absolutely. Barry Switzer, our guest today on The Verdict. We'll be right back.
Chesapeake chose to focus its entire drilling program on American soil was a day of victory for this country because our economy, our energy security, and our environment all win. Finding natural gas right here in the U.S. instead of in foreign countries puts dollars in the pockets of American landowners. It also pours tax dollars into city and state treasuries to improve schools and communities. And of course, drilling here creates jobs here. What's more, Chesapeake rewards ambition in the next generations with scholarship dollars, school mentors, and role models. In just a few years, we've built the nation's #1 drilling program, delivering clean-burning energy that brings independence and prosperity home to our neighbors and our nation. Chesapeake. Natural gas wins the day.
And Blankenship has stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Leaving it 4th and 7 on the Tiger 46-yard line. 38 seconds on the clock. The Tigers have no choice but to go. Wiggins in to do the kicking. Here's the snap. And the kick is away.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
Just keep it.
Thank you.
Dr. Kessler? What's up with the pizzas?
Well, I just got my first satellite bill, and those extra fees were a bit of a shocker. So I had to take a second job.
Hey, this was supposed to be pepperoni, dillweed.
Hey, it's Dr. Dillweed to you.
Whatever.
Kids. It's cool. I'm a people person.
Don't live in satellite denial. Get all your entertainment without the hidden charges from Cox, your friend in the digital age.
Are you the one looking for an exciting new career? If so, we are the one looking for you. We are Cox Communications, and we are searching for field service representatives. FSRs interact and perform services at our customers' home. Sound like the job for you? Then some of the things you need are a high school diploma and a good driving record. But for complete job description and qualification, go to jobs@cox.com.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. Kent's going to introduce today's guest.
Yeah, after 6.5 years doing this show, we were finally able to find a time that worked for Coach Switzer. Barry Switzer's our guest today. I'm going to give him the briefest of introductions because if I gave him an appropriate one, we wouldn't have any time to talk with him. He's a three-time national championship winning coach at the University of Oklahoma. Spent 16 years there. Spent 4 or 5 years at Dallas Cowboys, but in the process won a Super Bowl there. He's been a winner every place he's ever been, both in the athletic endeavor, but in political and business life as well. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Kent. Good to be here. Good to be here, Mayor.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
People have a perception of the word retirement, and it just doesn't seem to go with Barry Switzer. I don't see how Barry Switzer could retire.
I didn't know I was going to work this hard when I retired. I like it, though. I stay on the treadmill. I like to move at a fast pace. I don't know if I can slow down. I just don't think my personality, the way I'm wired, will allow me to. I like it that way. I do a lot of different things. I look at a lot of different things, and I get involved with a lot of different organizations and people, and I just I've always liked the fast pace, fast lane.
Well, what are you doing now? How do you keep yourself busy?
My gosh, I do a lot of different things. One of my great passions is Special Olympics. I've stayed with that. I get a lot of people call me every week for speaking engagements or be a part of a charity organization or live in my name, be an honorary chairman, whatever. But I'm in my fourth quarter of life right now, and I'm not near the 2-minute warning. I plan to play overtime, but I have said that I really want to call all of my plays in the fourth quarter. So I'm turning a lot of those things down. So don't get any ideas. Don't call me. I'm not.
Why Special Olympics? Why does that appeal to you?
Well, it's been a passion of mine for 35 years. I've been the honorary head coach. I've been to 4 international games. There's 160 countries in the world involved, and as I accepted that position in 1974, I've grown with it. I've gotten to know everyone in the organization. I see what they do, what they've accomplished, and where they've come to and arrived at. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful. And ours is the best. The state of Oklahoma is probably the 3rd largest in the world in participation for state games and winter games. And so that's been a great passion of mine, and I want to help them. I've tried being a fundraiser. I've just constantly worked with them, and will continue to as long as they want me to be part of it.
Coach, let me change the subject a little bit. Just almost every year we see a big story about a coach accepting a job and then the next day or the next 4 hours or whatever it is changing their mind and going back to where they were. Most recent example being the Billy Donovan basketball job. You were a coach that over your career was about at 2 universities and 1 pro team. You didn't change unless it was a much better job, and then you stayed there a while after you did change. What's your take on what kind of emotions or thought processes do you think these coaches are going through that go ahead and accept a job and then change their mind and go back?
Well, my thoughts are this, Kent. First of all, I was fortunate to be at the schools I was at. That's why my career only was at the University of Arkansas and the University of Oklahoma. That's where everyone's trying to get. Every coach out there, assistant coach, wants to coach at those type of institutions. My thought is this, and I saw one of them last night on television. I was watching baseball, and I saw Gene Stevenson in Wichita, the Shockers. And I thought about his involvement with Oklahoma and his short tenure here. Then Billy Donovan, as you mentioned. What I think is that there's several things get involved. First of all, I think some of them arrive and find out things that weren't in full disclosure. I think that they hear things, they discover things in that short span of time that they arrive on the campus that change the perception or thoughts of why this job is why I took it to begin with, and it's not what it is, not what was told. I think that happens in some cases, and I don't know who gives them that. Obviously the person that sold them isn't the one, but when you get there, you interact with a few people on campus, players, assistants, other administrators, and all of a sudden maybe the picture changes. I think some people just get cold feet. Some people don't want the challenge and hadn't thought it through quickly, because things move at a high, fast pace when you're trying to make coaching changes and you're recruited, and the monies and the dollars obviously affect people and make spontaneous decisions. But I only unless you walk in their shoes and live in that house do you really know the real reasons. But those are my thoughts about it. It happens too fast, and it hadn't thought through well enough.
Your perception of Bob Stoops as a head coach, you've been in his shoes. What's your perception of his from the outside? Oh,
first of all, I left here 20 years ago. I saw coaches come in here, I saw mistakes made, in my opinion, and I saw the program slide down. When Bob arrived on campus and I saw him and his staff coach for the first time, I knew these guys knew what they were doing. I knew how they lined them up, how they practiced, how they orchestrated their schemes offensively and defensively. And I waited to see them play. And when I saw them play, then I knew we had the right people here. And I knew right from the beginning, the first game that was played here at Oklahoma, we had the right guy and the right people in place in this program. And he's proven that. His ability to inspire confidence in his players. He has tremendous confidence. He's not insecure. He wants people around. He invited people back here to be a part of this program. They helped build this house, and it makes us feel comfortable in being a part of something we were all those years. So he's done all the right things, and he has a good organization around him. One guy doesn't do it by himself. One guy creates that. A lot of people plugged in at the right places, and he's done that. But he oversees that and he makes sure he's got the right people.
They have a lot of players coming back this year. They do have a void to fill at quarterback. What's your perception of the 07 season?
I have this perception, and here again, you have to live in their house. I hate to evaluate football teams and football players when you don't look at a lot of tape and you don't spend hours in a meeting room and discussing with the staff, and you have your own mind-eyes image of what you expect out of a defensive end or pass rusher, or cover corner, quarterback, running back. So we all have this measuring stick. And until you sit there and evaluate them with what you've known and what your sticks are, it's very difficult. But just off the top of my head, I'll say this. I think they're better than they were last year. I think their upside is greater without a question. I think the potential of the quarterbacks are greater than what Paul Thompson's abilities and talents were. I think the running back that they have is a better runner than Peterson. And now when I say runner, is an innate running ability to make you miss. The sudden, the quickness, the moves. Peterson was a great back, but he's a different style of back. He was a ricochet romance, a big, strong, tough people that took a lot of punishment, took a lot of hits. This guy makes people miss. You don't get a very good shot at this guy. And it's like a lot of the backs I used to have.
You like guys that make people miss, don't
you? Yeah, it's better than in that league he's fixing to play. You don't run over people up there. They're bigger than he is. The linebackers run just as fast, and they're about 25 pounds heavier. But I've always, it's innate running ability, and I think this guy hadn't played it down yet. But when you see him run the football, you know that he's special. Quarterbacks are special. I think defensive linemen is the key. Guys that squat on the ground and play on the line of scrimmage are very important to you. I think we might be a little bit better there, and athletic-wise, pass rushers. Cover corners are so important today because everybody throws a football and they're hard to find. I just think our upside is a football team is better this year.
Let me jump in here and get us to a break. We're visiting with Barry Switzer. You're watching The Verdict. We'll be right back.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Shining is taking responsibility. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, we know managing your health care can be overwhelming, and it's our job to help you meet the challenge. By guiding, supporting, and showing the way, we encourage you to gain control. Because we believe the best tool we can give you is the confidence to take charge. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, shining through.
That land next door was a mess. Take more than a lawnmower to revive that land. I heard the oil and natural gas people was cleaning up old oil sites, and it wouldn't cost us a plug nickel. Oh yes, sir, it was quite a revival. The whole church showed up. Want to make a playground for the kids. It sure is a blessing.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality, assistance, and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate. We're accountants. We do taxes, business valuations, estate planning, and consulting. And we're right here in Oklahoma, working with the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. Steve Wilsey and Stuart Meyer have the resources and the experience. Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate in Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
There's a whole new world online, but it's not always safe for kids. Never give your name, phone, address, or password to anyone you met online, and always keep your personal information private. It's the safe way for kids, right, gang?
Right, be safe online. Thanks to Lauren Nelson and Cox, we're working to keep Oklahoma kids safer online. For your free guide, log on now. And if you feel your child has been placed in danger by someone online, notify law enforcement today.
Oh, hi. I know you guys said I'd save with Cox Digital Telephone. Well, my bill came and... Could this be right?
You may be surprised how much you save with Cox Digital Telephone. That's why over 1.5 million people have switched.
So this really is a total. Lovely. Because I think I found a good use for the savings.
With Cox, there's no waiting for the other shoe to drop. The only surprise is there's no surprise at all.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett, Kent Myers. We're visiting with Barry Switzer.
Coach, you were at OU 16 years, had a lot of great winning teams and great winning seasons. Do you have a favorite team that you can think of that, not necessarily because they won a national championship, but just was your favorite?
I've been asked that a lot, you know, and a lot of people ask me what is the game I remember the most and all, and obviously it's a loss, 78 Nebraska, when we're #1 in the nation. We fumble the ball at the 2-yard line. Billy makes a great run to get to 2. We fumble that. We're going to win another national championship. But my best teams that I liked were the young teams of, they were fun to coach, were the teams of the 85, 86, probably 86 football team. And the reason I say that, it's not that they were the best players. They had some good players, the Keith Jacksons, the Jamal Holloways, Lydell Carrs, but it was a team that I did not care who touched the football. I didn't have a prima donna. Now, when I say a prima donna, I didn't have a Billy Sims or Marcus Dupree or some back that you needed to get the ball in their hands 25 to 30 times a game. I had halfbacks like Anthony Stafford, Patrick Collins.
Damon Still.
I didn't care if he touched it 6 times or 0 times, and they didn't care either. They were great little blockers. They had great speed on the corners. When they ever got the ball pitched to them, they're going to make a big play because they had great speed. But they were great team guys, and they busted their rear ends. They were unselfish. And I'm not saying the other guys I mentioned were. Yeah. It just made it fun to coach because the offense we ran is a quarterback, fullback offense, and the halfbacks are blockers, and they're guys that get the ball maybe pitched to once or twice a game or handed once or twice a game. So it's fun to coach in an era. I didn't have to worry about taking care of people's personalities and worry about what they thought about themselves.
To a certain extent, you're about as popular today in Oklahoma as you've ever been. Why is that? Why do people care what Barry Switzer thinks? Why do you have political influence? Why do you have political capital to loan to people? What?
Well, I think it's American phenomena. I think sports in this country are, we all, you know how we hold sports, whether it's football, basketball, whatever. Sports, first thing someone does in the morning, pick up a newspaper, they open the sports page. It's a phenomenon in this country. And I think people put too much value in it. You know, I say to young kids, I meet them, I say, hey, doing well in school is more important than doing well in sports. Parents appreciate it, kids don't want to hear that, but it's true. Being competitive in the classroom is more important than being competitive on the football field. They don't understand that now, they will later in life. But the thing about it is people want to know what the coach has to say. And it happens not only in this state, but in every state. It's influential because of this American phenomena. But people ask me, because I batted 100 with Brad Henry, I've been 0 for 6 about since then, Brad. And I've told people, it's the old Gene Stipes saying, when people ask me if they want me to help them, I say, well, you want me for you or against you? What helps you the most? Because I'm about 0 for 6 since then. I tried to help my buddy Pete Regan because he was part of the Brad Henry when we all went out and tried to get Brad elected, and so I got to know Pete really, and Jerry Askins knows that. I've known her for years, and she's a great gal too, but it's all a part of it, and everybody that asks, hey, I need your endorsement. But, you know, I think it influences some people, maybe out away from, on the perimeter, the peripheral of around the state, more so than locally, but on a statewide race, probably more so than it would be in a local race.
Much has been said about and written and grinned about your relationship with the University of Nebraska. and their coaches, Bob Devaney and Tom Osborne. How do you explain that special kinship that you seem to have back then and probably still today?
Well, first of all, Bob and I go way back. I knew Bob in '64 before I ever came here, and I was an assistant for a long time at Arkansas, as I was here at Oklahoma. I was head coach 16 years, but I was an assistant for 7 years, so I was here 25 years. So I knew Bob when we beat Nebraska in the Cotton Bowl in 1964 and won a national championship when Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson were playing for Frank Broyles. But Bob I got to know then. We were very competitive when we came here in 1966. We got to know each other even more at we played a lot more golf tournaments back in those days, assistants and the head coaches and at the Big 8 meetings. So we became close through that. Then when I became head coach, Bob was AD, and we just socialized more together than Tom. Bob was more sociable than Tom Osborne. Tom was straight arrow, straight line. Dr. Tom, Bob would have a few beers with you, and Tom would say hello and go on about his business. But our personalities seem to fit more.
Well, the fans at Nebraska just seem to really like you being around. That's I don't think they do that at Texas or perhaps other places.
It's a little more competitive. It's competitive in both schools. I think there's no more, because of the boarding states, I think the Red River creates a lot. We recruit the same players, Texas, Oklahoma. There's a little more animosity happens. We never recruited against Nebraska. Very seldom we ever did. They're so far removed away from here. They recruited different regions. We recruited different regions. We never went head to head. Wasn't the controversy. The media didn't create the controversy like it did. When I left here to go to Dallas Cowboys, I knew there would be 20 writers down there that I didn't have a chance with. They weren't even going to be fair because I knew what they were like when I was coaching here for 20-something years at Oklahoma. They already aligned themselves. I knew what I expected from those guys. But the Nebraska fans have a great appreciation for successful programs. They are class act. They treat their school with great respect, and they treat the other opponent that plays their school with great respect. And that's what we have, a mutual admiration between two great programs.
Yeah.
Some venue shuffling going on in Dallas. Jerry's building a brand new stadium. The Cotton Bowl is moving to that new stadium. The OU Texas game apparently going to stay at the old Cotton Bowl. What's your take on all that? You certainly you follow it.
They better do something about the bathrooms on the upper deck if they're going to keep them there, because that's a horrible situation. They really need to do something, because I can see the Texas OU game eventually being there. I don't know what year it'll be, but I'm telling you, Jerry's built the Taj Mahal of football stadiums. You ever seen that thing online? Go online and look at that dude. It's something. But players and fans want to be a part of something that's new, nice and shiny and up to date, and that's just an example of it right there.
What's your greater satisfaction, winning the national championship at the University of Oklahoma or winning the Super Bowl?
Kent, I've been asked that a lot too, but let me tell you, the Super Bowl is the biggest stage and sporting event there is in the world. There's no bigger stage for any sport than the Super Bowl, and that week, all the things that go with it. But there's more satisfaction at the collegiate level in the fact that coaches on that level have a different mission. You know, pro football is nothing about winning. It's just getting to the Super Bowl. That's our job, is winning. College football coaching is about making a difference and being a difference in young men's lives. You recruit them when they're 18 and 19 years of age. You got them 4 or 5 years. You got them 24/7. You recruit a player, you got him for life. He's yours. You're going to have him the next 30, 40, 50 years of living, because a coach is a coach, and to a player and an athlete, they only have one coach. And
we have run out of time. Coach, thanks so much for coming.
I talk too much, right?
Well, that's the idea.
No. We just want you to come back.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Enjoyed it.
Kent and I'll have a final word after this.
The good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
Gather around. It's time to share Boomerang, the network dedicated to classic cartoons. Television your family can watch together. Cox Communications brings your kids the characters they love. So sit down with your loved ones. It's time to share Boomerang.
Came home! Now, Boomerang is on Cox. Catch your favorite cartoons on Cox Digital Channel 148. The Cox Channel, following your favorite teams all season long.
Mick Cornett and Kent Myers back, wrapping up a show with Barry Switzer.
Yeah, the coach, the guy we've been wanting to get on for a long time. Pleased he'd take time to come visit with us.
322 shows, as soon as we could get him on, huh?
Yeah, we got to move a little faster.
We'll have another show for you next week. We'll see you then.
The preceding program was produced by the Production Services Group at Cox Communications, exclusively for the Cox Channel.